The most dangerous thing about heat is not that it feels uncomfortable. It is that for a long time it feels manageable. You are sweaty, annoyed, maybe a little tired, but nothing dramatic is happening. You open a window, drink something cold, sit in front of a fan, and tell yourself it is just one of those hot days. And most of the time, fine, it is. But during a real heat wave, the line between "I am hot" and "my body is losing control" can be much thinner than people think. So let's rank the ways people deal with heat. From small tricks that mostly make you feel better to habits that genuinely protect you. Some are nice, some are overrated, and the last one matters when heat stops being annoying and starts being dangerous. The first level is the classic quick fix. Cold drinks, ice cubes, a handheld fan, a wet towel, a frozen bottle pulled from the back of the freezer like it is a survival tool. These things can help. A cold drink can feel amazing. A fan on your face can make a sticky room feel less awful. A slice of watermelon from the fridge is not medical treatment, but nobody is complaining. Comfort is easy to confuse with safety. If your room is still hot, your body is still working. It is pushing blood toward the skin, sweating, trying to dump heat into the air. A cold drink cools your mouth and helps with hydration, but it does not turn a hot room into a safe one. A tiny USB fan buzzing next to your laptop may feel like a solution, but sometimes it is just moving warm air around your desk. That does not make quick fixes useless. They are just low in the ranking, helpful, but not a heatwave solution. The next level sounds boring, which is why people ignore it. Shade, timing, and clothes. A light loose shirt, a hat, sunglasses, sunscreen, and staying out of the strongest sun do not feel like a clever hack. They feel like advice printed on a pharmacy leaflet. But this is where the ranking gets more serious, because these things reduce how much heat your body has to fight in the first place. Someone walks to the shop at 2 in the afternoon wearing a dark t-shirt, then waits at a bus stop with no shade, phone in hand, asphalt radiating heat from below. Nothing about that looks extreme. It is just errands. But direct sun, hot pavement, no breeze, and no water add up. The trick is not to look tough. It is to avoid unnecessary heat load. Move on the shady side of the street. Wear breathable clothing. Do the outside part earlier or later. Less heat in means less heat your body has to push out. Then we get to the advice everyone knows and still manages to complicate. Drink water. Hydration is not about proving that you can drink 3 liters in one heroic moment. It is about regular intake, especially when you are sweating. Your body uses sweat to cool itself, and sweat costs water and salt. If you do not replace enough fluid, cooling becomes harder. A simple bottle on the desk beats a perfect hydration plan that you forget by noon. Small detail, big consequence. This is also where the internet makes things messy. One person says plain water is enough. Another says you need electrolytes. Then there is the uncle who says cold beer is the best heatwave strategy, which is probably the worst science in the whole episode. For an ordinary person sitting at home, eating normally and drinking regularly, water is usually the main thing. Electrolytes can matter more if you are sweating heavily, working outside, exercising, or losing fluids for hours. But you do not need to turn every warm afternoon into a sports nutrition experiment. And alcohol is a bad trade. It can make dehydration and poor judgment more likely when the room is already too hot. The next level is more underrated. Cooling the skin. A cool shower, wet cloth on the neck, damp t-shirt, spray bottle, or cool water on wrists and forearms can help because your body is not a sealed container. It exchanges heat with the environment. When water evaporates from your skin, it can carry heat away. When cooler water touches areas with strong blood flow, it can make you feel better faster. This is why a simple wet towel can sometimes do more than another glass of ice water. Not always, of course. If the room is humid and hot, evaporation works less well. But mild, repeated cooling is often more useful than one dramatic cold shock. A freezing shower sounds heroic, but it is not automatically better. For many situations, cool or lukewarm water used often is more practical. The goal is to lower heat stress. Now the ranking changes scale, because the biggest enemy is often not outside. It is your home. A flat can become a heat trap. Sun hits the windows for hours. The walls and floor store heat. A bedroom that was warm at 5 p.m. becomes impossible at midnight. The pillow feels warm. The fan makes noise. You turn it from level 2 to level 3, and somehow the room still feels like a parked car. This is a common mistake. They open windows at the wrong time. If the air outside is hotter than the air inside, you may just be inviting the heat in. During the day, closing curtains or blinds on sunny windows can help. Then, when the outside air becomes cooler in the evening or early morning, opening windows can make sense. It is not glamorous advice. It is window management. But it can matter more than a cute cooling gadget. Cooking also matters. A stove, oven, gaming PC, dryer, even several people in one room can add heat. That sounds small, but it matters when the room has nowhere to dump that heat. If you have air conditioning, use it wisely. If you do not, think in terms of zones. The coolest room, the shaded room, the lower floor, the public library, the mall, the community cooling space. The goal is to spend at least part of the day somewhere your body can recover. The sixth level is not a product. It is changing the plan. Heat punishes stubborn routines. The run you always do at lunch. The garden work that was supposed to take 20 minutes. The dog walk on hot pavement. The quick trip to the parcel locker that turns into a queue with no shade. Each decision seems small by itself. Put 5 of them together, and the body pays the bill. The smartest response to heat is often to stop fighting it directly. Move physical work to the morning or evening. Take breaks before you feel awful. Check the temperature. Carry water. Choose the shaded route. Cancel the workout if the heat index is ugly. Tell the older relative you will visit later instead of expecting them to walk across town. You see the problem. The best heat strategy sometimes looks like laziness from the outside. But it is not laziness. It is not giving heat extra chances. This matters even more for people who cannot adapt easily. Older adults, infants, people with chronic illness, outdoor workers, people living alone, and anyone without a cool place to recover. For them, just drink water is not a plan. Someone may need a check-in. Someone may need help moving to a cooler room. Someone may need a ride, not advice. And that brings us to the top of the ranking. Recognizing when heat is becoming a medical problem. This is the part people miss, because heat illness does not always arrive like a movie emergency. It can start as a headache, dizziness, nausea, weakness, heavy sweating, cramps, irritability, strong thirst, or peeing much less than usual. A person may look pale and clammy, or just strangely tired. A child may become unusually quiet. An older person may seem confused, but everyone around them blames the weather and waits. Waiting is the dangerous part. Heat exhaustion means the body is struggling after losing too much water and salt, often through sweating. The first move is simple. Get to a cooler place. Stop activity. Loosen clothing. Cool the skin. And drink cool fluids if the person can drink safely. If symptoms do not improve, or if they get worse, it is time to get medical help. Heat stroke is different. Confusion, altered mental state, fainting, seizures, very high body temperature, or hot skin with or without sweating are emergency signs. At that point, this is not a lifestyle tip. This is urgent. Cool the person and call for emergency help. That is why the final answer is not buy a better fan, or drink more water, or take cold showers. Those can help, but they are pieces. If we rank heat strategies honestly, quick tricks sit near the bottom. Shade, loose clothing, and smart timing are higher because they reduce the heat your body absorbs. Hydration and skin cooling are higher again because they support the body's cooling system directly. Managing your home matters because you need a place to recover. Planning the day around heat is even stronger because avoiding the worst conditions beats suffering through them. But number 1 is knowing when the body is no longer coping. Heat usually does not feel like a disaster at first. It feels like a normal day with a few bad choices stacked on top of each other. The wrong hour, The hot room, the missing water bottle, the closed curtains forgotten too late, the extra walk, the headache you ignore. One signal too many. The best way to deal with heat is not one trick. It is a system. Keep heat out, let the body cool down, drink regularly, avoid the worst hours, protect vulnerable people, and take symptoms seriously. Because heat does not need to look dramatic to be dangerous. It only needs you to underestimate it for long enough.
Thanks for watching! If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. See you in the next one!